Cool. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's J Flow here, and we are at day 6 at camp. And there was a little bit of a hiatus there, a lot of riding happening. Today, I'm with Cortino, and we're just going to learn a little bit here on the team bus about him and how his experience was at camp today. So tell us just your full name and kind of where you're from and what do you call home?
Okay, so my name is Cortino Garcia.
Yeah.
And currently from Meridian, Idaho, which is next to Boise.
Yeah.
Originally from California, but I bumped around a few different places.
Nice. Where in California were you from?
Modesto's where Stockton, where I was born, and then grew up in Modesto so I was my teen years.
Yeah.
Utah, Denver area, Colorado, Front Range, Chicago, where I met my wife, and then we moved back to Boise.
Nice. All over. Awesome. So tell me, how did you first hear about TeamODZ camp?
I think I heard some of the guys. I ride with the Team Real guys in Boise area, and I've heard them chat about it in a couple of years previous. And so, and then somewhere last fall, I may have just kind of heard it again and started thinking about it because last fall I was thinking about, okay, what do I want to accomplish in 2023 with my cycling, with my fitness. And 2022 wasn't bad. I actually had a really good cross season. Not that cross is incredibly deep in Boise, but improvement. I've been doing cross about 4 years, and improved greatly in the last 4 years. And so I said, well, what do I want to do, and what's going to take to get me there? And it's a little bit of quantity because on one hand, I am riding an 18-year-old bike.
So that's okay.
Friends are getting new bikes and whatnot. Some of the guys on that Team Real, they seem to go through bikes every year. But at the same time, I said, if maybe I hopefully will still be able to get a bike maybe this year. But the thing that would most benefit me would be investing in my fitness. And so I said, if I can get in with a good training camp and then get a solid week of training, but it's not just the week of camp, it's preparing myself for that and then using that as a launch pad for the rest of my year. So that was the thought process.
Absolutely. So then at what point did you pull the trigger and knew that you were going to come? And then what had you done to that point to get you to camp this week?
So I asked, and I think I requested, I got, I think I kind of Googled it or something like that. Or I may have reached out to Eric. I think that's what it was. I reached out to Eric Denning, and I said, hey, what's going on with the TeamODZ camp, and how do I get in? He says, well, it usually fills up, but we may or may not have slots, so why don't you check out on the website, and there's a link on there. So I think it may have been Wags that Dustin Wags that I contacted, and he said, well, we're still getting the roster set out, and then I'll let you know. And then so that was probably late November, and I didn't hear anything from him, I think all through December, and I'm sure it's because he's busy with all this other stuff. And so finally I reached out again in January, and it's like, so is it still going down? Is there still a slot? Because I'm still interested. And he said, oh yeah, we still have a slot. So and I said, oh well, I want to come. I definitely want to come. So I immediately jumped on that, and that's when I was committed. At the same time too, the other thing that did help is just as I was finishing my cross season, Eric said, hey, he reached out to Team Real and said, hey, we need some guys to help fill in some slots on the WTRL racing and time trials and stuff like that. So you want to join? I was like, well, what the heck? and that was actually a reach for me because I had really planned on, as soon as we get into the cross season, just really having a real solid 2 month, maybe even 3 months of just pure aerobic base training. Which, in an ideal world, I would have started in October, but with cross season, I can't do that. So
it's kind of flipped, right?
Yeah. So I said, well, it can't hurt 1 day a week to get out there and really turn it up. And there definitely is a learning curve, and I still think I'm on that learning curve. First season in December, late November to December, I think I got dropped hard on the first race, and then but by the time we got to the last race of that that mid season, I think I did well.
Yeah. Had you ridden Zwift before this?
No.
A little bit? No.
No.
Oh, so it was all new to you.
Yeah, all new. I mean,
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
ridden an indoor trainer, but
Right.
not Zwift.
Not like this.
No, not that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was all new to you.
Yeah, all new.
Oh, wow. Well, so as the months and the weeks progressed with WTRL, did you get the hang of it and kind of got in the groove?
Yeah, I think I'm getting in the groove. I still think, I mean, after this week, so I came into this week, honestly, a little bit apprehensive because, you know, on the team time trials, I still have not finished with the team for the team time trials. So, you know, with Cooper and Andy and Eric and even Charisse, you know, Charisse has even dropped in.
Yeah. No, I've that's early for us. It's at 4:30, so I catch the end of it as you guys are starting to finish.
Yeah.
But it is like, I'm watching the videos and it is a hard race.
Yeah.
Even I haven't done one of those in forever, but yeah, that is one of the hardest races there are. So yeah, good.
So yeah, I was nervous going in, and this week has shown me that I built confidence through the week, and through the rides. And so I think fitness-wise, I'm where I want to be. I was not sure about that. I really wasn't sure about fitness-wise, but I think I just need to learn some more Zwift racing skills.
Yeah, and I think there is a disconnect there with fitness and what makes you a good esports racer versus a real-world racer, and those sort of cues and things like that. So outside of Zwift, were you doing outside riding with Team Real, doing those weekend rides that they do, kind of their whole routine?
Well, in the wintertime, especially we've had a little bit colder winter, the second half of the winter. We have not gotten out as a team, but we have gotten and done group rides on Zwift.
Gotcha.
So Lauren,
Tiffany does a couple of good ones.
She does.
Those are not easy either.
Yeah. And so I did the 300 miles between Christmas and New Year's.
Oh,
The
Strava thing.
Yeah, the Strava
very
thing.
Cool, very
cool. And then, just some other thing. And it's been a struggle. February has been very business for me, business-wise. And so it's been a struggle to get in the miles. And that was another thing that was making me nervous about coming into here. But I must have got the right workouts at the right time and enough. So I feel good. I definitely, after yesterday's ride, I think that if I had more miles, I'd be feeling in a better place. I'm definitely feeling very worn.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if anything, as I coach riders through camp and kind of coming here and preparing, I think a lot of it is just that time that we don't get, right? We do a lot of 90 minutes, some longer weekends, but just having long, easier rides and just being in the saddle, I think is something that we don't get enough of unless we have that time, right? If you're doing 40 hours at work, it's very challenging to get those long rides. You're squeezing them in with the family time. I found some good success with, like, I'll do an indoor workout and then go to the group ride to kind of like put just time together, right?
Yeah.
And we've got to get creative that way to get kind of long saddle times and that sort of thing. So as you got here, kind of all the energy again on that Sunday, everyone kind of putting the bikes together and that energy. Tell me about how that felt coming in camp and those moments. Yeah.
It's a great group of people. I mean, that's all I can say about it. I mean, we're definitely different. I don't want to make this sound at all disparaging, but I would not necessarily pick some of these people to be my friends in everyday life.
I wouldn't pick most of them.
But others, I would naturally fall in with. But the thing is that, you're aligned in a common goal, and I think it brings out the good and the best in everybody. I think that's probably what it boils down to.
Absolutely, and I think everyone's super helpful. Willing to share and willing to talk and just share stories, whether it be cycling related, life related. And I think those are fun ways to connect with people that have similar interests.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah. And then, so sounded like you came in with a good amount of fitness and training, and you felt that was a good result. On the nutrition side, how did you feel that you did now that we're on day 6 versus your thoughts coming into it, or have you been kind of on par with your thoughts?
I think I was pretty much on par with my thoughts as I've gotten older, and so that's another thing that's the whole part of the impetus is that I'm definitely starting to feel my age. So I'm turning 49 this year, and things
you don't look like that. You don't look it, and nor do you ride like it.
Things are starting to change slowly. My GI tract has definitely been more sensitive in the past 9 months for whatever reason, and so that had me a little bit nervous coming into camp because of the past 2 weeks I've just had a lot of GI issues. But my goal as far as nutrition was number one, stay hydrated, and then stay on top of my electrolytes. I wasn't overly concerned on the amount of calories, except for our big ride day yesterday.
Yeah.
That's when I really got focused on and laser focused on. And luckily, I think I did stay right on top of it. At the same time, I think it was right at the limit. There was a couple times like, hey, I know I need to have some calories. I'm going to get the calories down, but let's hope it stays down. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I totally get you. Yeah, you get to that threshold of how much can I put down per hour comfortably.
Yeah.
Because I know I don't need it. And yeah, fueling early for these rides, it feels very backwards, but it's very hard in that first hour to like really start to get things down, because you know you're going to need it at hour 6, hour 7.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one thing I did really concentrate on this week, again, I know it's good for everybody, but definitely as I get older, it's something that helps. Is that I made sure I had a good 2 hours of digestion before the ride started. Whereas in my younger years, half an hour before, just shoveling it in and go type of a thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, on the flip side of that, as soon as we got back, immediately I made sure and got some carbohydrate protein drink or a carbohydrate protein meal, meal of some sort.
And it's been good. Breakfast meals have been pretty balanced. You can choose a lot of fun things to eat. You can get that food in early enough, especially on the big day rides, and there's definitely enough food in the house to be able to find what you need, whatever you're looking for. So I do enjoy that. As far as the people, it didn't sound like you knew everyone, but you knew some of the people coming here. Was there anyone that you were surprised or excited to meet in person? I mean, obviously, the Dennings, but not really anyone else in person. Was there anyone you're like, oh, wow, I really be looking forward to meeting this person?
Well, I was kind of looking forward to meeting Andy, Ooper, and Justin, because I did the riding with them virtually.
Yeah.
And so, but the rest, I was excited to meet you too.
Oh.
I've seen you on some of the podcasts, and you had a really pleasant personality.
Oh, thanks.
But the rest, I was just
took it as it came.
Just took it as it came. Yeah. I'm a pretty easy-going guy that way. And
no, you are. Yeah. Absolutely. I guess since we're towards the end of the week too, what would be your highlight ride of the week?
Oh, highlight ride. I think honestly, I want to say yesterday's Tortilla Flats ride, but in all honesty, I think it was the Wednesday hill repeats ride is what I'm going to call it. And because that's when I really became confident that I could hold my own. To do it after 1 or 2 hills and to ride with some of the best guys, the best climbers that we had was one thing, but to be doing it on the 10th and 11th hill and I'm still doing okay. I'm like, all right, this is I think this is panning out. And that's one thing I didn't mention in my prep for my training. One of the things that I've changed this year is something I've heard about for a long time, known about. I actually, my undergraduate is in exercise physiology, so I've read the studies, but I've never taken the time to put it into practice, and that's weight training. And so this winter, and I have not been
during cyclocross season.
No.
Oh, right before it.
After it.
Oh, after it. Oh, and that little gap in between. I gotcha.
Yeah. And so it was just like, okay, in addition to this base training, I need to squeeze out 2 or 3 sessions a week, and I didn't always get 2 or 3 sessions. But what I did, I really think helped me on the climb.
Absolutely. No, and I think a lot of that, as we do get older, I'm going to turn 45 this year, so I think that strength and that core strength and that lower back strength, those are things that we need to make sure that we're shoring up year to year. Taking that 10 weeks in that interim or wherever it ends up in your season, depending on how you race, and making sure we take time for that, because if not, it can be really debilitating. So I think it's really important, and I see a lot of people getting it right more often now. And the other thing that transitions into your base is, and we've seen good success in, is low cadence training as you transition into that base, and that goes really well hand in hand, because that really gets deep into the muscles as you kind of switch over. So that's great. All right, last question we've asked all of our guests this week is, if you had to give a 5-minute talk on something that you had deep knowledge about, what would it be?
I'm an independent financial advisor. I could say that.
Wow.
I do love. Actually, no, and I say that because I love what I do. I love working with people.
Yeah.
But as you asked that question, I don't know that I have deep knowledge of this, but I think I'm getting more knowledgeable, and that's coaching youth and coaching and being a good parent coach.
Yes.
So
That's huge.
yeah.
Our kids are about the same age, 11, right?
Yep.
And my son is 10. So we've had a lot of good chats this week and kind of bounce off some of the other parents about how they've coached their older kids. And I think it's a fine balance. I feel like we're very competitive by nature, but we want to prosper a very healthy relationship in our kids, right? And so that can be a challenge.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. And so learning more about that is what you did. There you go. There you have it. All right. Well, I want to thank Cortino here. A great week. And if you need a good wheel to ride on, he's the man. Nice and smooth. We've had a great day at camp. We've got a couple more episodes on the team bus before everyone leaves. So don't forget, click on the bottom to subscribe. We'll go live as much as we can here for the rest of the week. We got about a day. We got one more ride. So hopefully we'll get it in the morning. Nice coffee, some donuts. So check us out. And thanks for joining in on the team bus.